strategy webinar. Eventually, we're going to end up calling this a little bit something different here each night of the week. It'll be certain segments that we'll be doing, but it will be about trading Nadex, trading Forex, trading the net with indicators, with DEX indicators, DEX signals, a little bit of everything. We're going to be covering a lot of stuff tonight, so let's jump in and get started. Now, most of the times I have a webinar package of images and things that I go through, but we got to start off with the same one every night to make sure that everybody has a true understanding of what and who we are. First, that I have to appease the lawyers, and I do apologize. I got to put the little oranges in the plate for them and pay homage. But there is a risk to everything that we do. In the world of trading, everybody should understand the risk is real. Okay, whether or not you're trading in demo, the risk of your time, the risk of money being put into overseas binaries, whatever it is that you have gotten into, at this point, we have to inform you that we don't invest in anything overseas or do any of that hokey crap. Okay. We're here to invest in actual true Forex or Nadex.com, which is an exchange here in the United States. So, and we won't manage trades for you. We won't trade your accounts or do any of that kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. Everything that we do, from our signals to our indicators to our support to our webinars to our customer support to our consults, everything is about education and trading assistance. Okay, and that's what we provide. Okay. Every single person is different. You're going to get a different solution. Every single person is going to get something different from what we do. Okay, so all results may vary. I'm going to show you a lot of results tonight because tonight's a special night. So those that are new, that haven't seen this before, and some of you that have, you're going to be very excited tonight, because why do proven results mean something to you as a trader? It's because these are people that are just like you. I could sit up here all day long and show you my results, right? And if you knew me, if you know me, you know that I'm giving you the transparent, real skinny of it all, right? That I'm not here to BS you, because I got to be in this business for a long time, right? And if something doesn't work or something fails, I tear it apart to try to find out what was going on. So, but keep in mind, if you're brand new, if you're not brand new, all results may vary from person to person. And we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight as well. Now, before I get into all the graphics, what the 5 full-minute circle is, for those people that are new here, just keep in mind a brief history of who we are is that we're an investment firm. Basically, and I'm going to give you the paraphrase version of it tonight. We're an investment firm, but we weren't always an investment firm. We were a marketing firm for many years, and we worked very hard, and we made some money, and we decided that we were going to diversify our funds and invest in overseas binaries. Big mistake. We lost everything we had. I had $115,000 for myself that I lost. We had people and friends and family and employees and contractors that we knew, because we were telling the world what we were doing and how we were doing it. And people trusted us. And when that company took us for our money, they took everybody that I brought in with it as well. And so why did I make DEX signals? Because we're fighting to find a reputable company out there, and there just wasn't one. So we had to make it. So DEX signals became really, it was born in June of last year, but we had to go quiet for a little while and go dark a little bit, because we were doing really well with me trading. I was trading at like 92%, but I couldn't keep that up and help everybody else trade and show trades and do those kind of signals. So we had to develop a signal system. And when we came out with it in November, we put it out there, and it took a lot of time for people to learn how to do. And from November to March, we were sort of being held back a little bit by a third-party company. And we decided in March that we weren't going to wait anymore. So we released DEX Signals. And in March, it was basically DEX Signals 2.0. And so in March, from March until now, we have been, and just to a month ago, have been pushing DEX Signals, training people. We've trained over 1,000 people in that network. We provided over 1 million signals, if you believe that or not. Crazy, right? But the solution of just having a signals system with an educational value wasn't enough. We were getting a lot of our customers that are asking us for help with indicators. So we knew that if we were going to try to find an indicator system out there, we needed to find one. And we just couldn't find a decent one that would give people the training and the strategies, everything with it. So guess what we had to do? we had to build it. So that's where Dex Indicators was built. Now, in the span of 1 month and 1 week, actually, almost to the day, Dex Indicators not only matched the amount of people that it was in Dex Signals, but matched the power of it on the internet. Since we were a marketing firm, my brother and I were SEO gurus. My brother is actually the one who is very, very powerful in SEO and getting that information out there. He's taken the sites to that level. And because he has, we haven't had to buy advertising. All of our sales come through us organically. So you've either searched us online, you've seen us in social media, Facebook or Twitter, or you've heard us by word of mouth, right? Nobody should have ever clicked an ad that we paid for. And that's pretty cool because it means that we're here for the long haul, because organic search engine optimization takes a lot to do, but once it's done for a lifetime. Now, what are we going to talk about tonight? Tonight's going to be a little bit different. We're going to get some group participation in the chat room here. And I know we have some new people that said in the very beginning that they were new. If there's any more new people that haven't answered yet, just type the word new into the chat room and let us know that you haven't bought into the company yet. The reason I'm saying this is because I always like to know about how many people a night are brand new to the series. And if you are new, I can kind of help answer some questions for you too as you're starting out. And it also helps me know that, if you're new to the process and you're asking beginner questions, I know that I can give you a little bit more leniency other than just tell you to go through the training, right? Okay, so let's get started. In the chat room, and I want you to answer this out. Now, some of you are going to answer, and some of you may decide that, hey, I don't want to answer, or what have you. But in the answer, I would really like for you to type out, just for a second, okay, is in the world of trading, I don't care how long you've been trading, a month, a year, 2 months, 10 years, whatever, right? I want you to tell me what is your biggest challenge. If you can, briefly in 1 or 2 words, what your biggest challenge is. And I want to start putting some of this down up here on the screen. And I want to start addressing some of it. Okay, so if you could write out the biggest challenge for you, and give it a couple seconds here if you have to. Ken says discipline, right? This is a big one too, right? You're just having the discipline to be able to do the trades. I get that. That's a good one. No trade information in the group tonight, Skylar. Just consistency. David White, that's a great one. So we'll say consistency. So we have the discipline, we got consistency, hesitation in trade. Heidi, that's a great one. Hesitation, right? Reading news better, okay? We'll just put that up here as news, right? What else? Anybody else got anything from me? My first one was discipline and consistency. Okay, we got those. That's good ones. Emotions. She says emotions, right? That's a great one as well. Right? Anybody else? Anybody else want to contribute in there? These are great ones. It shows me the level of your participation in here, and I can't thank you. Winning strategy, Lewis. That's probably one of the most the biggest ones in there is having a winning strategy, right? Okay. Anybody else before I move on? Certainty, yep. Confidence, that's sort of in there too. We'll talk about that hesitation right here that we can probably call this confidence as well, right? Howard Jones, that's a pretty good twist on a winning strategy as well. We can probably, put that here. But the OTM is a very specific type of strategy. Doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be a challenge for you, but it's definitely something that can be kind of contributed to the winning strategy number here. But these 6 or 7, but it's still good. I mean, and trust me, having an OTM strategy would make a hell of a lot. I'll show you one here, not even OTM, but more ATM. OTM is like trying to tell the future, right? Because it's calling a strikeout before, as it's in a losing capacity, and you're going to say it's not going to be losing, and I can look into the future and see that it's going to be there. And those are very, very it's almost like trying to find a unicorn. Trading when tired. This is another great one. Okay. We could probably call this even under the discipline process. And my spelling is way off tonight. I apologize. I look like a third grader. But we're going to call this under the discipline. Okay. So just put that. Guilty. Yeah. I'm terrible. Okay. All right. So basically what you're seeing, right, is that if this 20, 25, 26 people that are in this webinar right now, okay, let's just pretend that this was the entire world. And these were your problems when you were trading, right? And your discipline, and this is a big one, right? And the reason I'm doing this tonight, because this is about you. This is about you folks in here, okay? Your discipline has a way of messing with you, okay? Because a lot of you don't have the discipline because of some of these other processes. You can only kind of say that consistency, if consistency is an issue, you're pretty much not applying the discipline to the process, right? And if you are applying the discipline to the process, then it's either something else is missing. You're not following the strategy correctly. Maybe you're not doing the new, you're avoiding the news. Okay. You got hesitation in the system, or the confidence behind it isn't there. So it's still the one of the most the biggest processes of what fails in a trading solution, because they all sort of come back. Now, news, this is a big one, right? But this is basically, if you're trading the news, you're breaking a rule, right? In our system, we tell people not to trade the news. Don't even trade the news. Why? Because the news is like saying, I want to fix, if I'm teaching you how to fix a Band-Aid, how to fix, like maybe you cut yourself and you learn how to, and I'm teaching you how to put a Band-Aid on your arm. I don't want to teach you how to be a brain surgeon just so I can put a Band-Aid on your arm. Does that make sense? So knowing how to trade news takes a lot of technical effort. So why even mess with it? Can anybody tell me of a profitable, understandable news solution that's out there? There's not one. So trading the news can be kind of covered right under the discipline side, right? Now, another big one is emotion, because the emotion behind anything that we do, this has been casted to us. This has been handed to us, right? How many of you came straight out of college? Anybody come right out of college or right out of school and decide they want to be a trader? No? How many of you are getting into trading because you wanted to make this a business choice and this is what you want to do? How many are here? How many of you that answered some of these issues that you have with trading is here to make this as a business? How many here? Just type the word yes in, or me, or what have you. A life choice. Great. Yeah, Joseph says yes. Howard says yes. David M says yes. Dial me in. Great. Jay says yes. So let me ask you a question. If I could show you right now, if this is what's keeping you and your biggest trials and tribulations, I'm going to show you in a couple easy steps, real quick, how to begin. Now, not how to fix it, but how to begin to fix it. Because no hard road is ever done easy. But it doesn't need to be impossible. It doesn't need to be fearful. Okay. So, discipline. This is a big one. In overcoming the discipline side of it, you have to create yourself a rule base. This is how you fix your discipline. The first thing you're going to do, anybody that has a problem with the discipline, you're going to have your demo account. You're going to go to the 5-minute strategy. You're going to go to those rules and you're going to do what? The rules are no news, right? I think I even have let me get over to it. The rules. No news trading. Wait to the 3 and 4 and 8 and 9. Some of you may not understand this yet, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, these are certain rules. You're going to go to the SR level or the tip of the arrow to get the call strike period, the statement from Nadex. Okay, you've checked the news, you've checked the comes out on the process. You take the tip. If you see if it's a sell arrow, you're only going to do 2 pips. Okay, you're going to add 2 pips to it. Some of you don't know what some of those rules are. That's okay. But if we take those rules, news, 3, 8, 9, right? We're just going to paraphrase some of this stuff, right? Tip of the arrow on sells, add 2 pips, right? Plus 2 pips. So if this is your rules, how can the rules help your discipline? You just follow them. Don't add anything in. I had one customer yesterday say, well, your 4 rules are very simple, but I really got to say, what if this and what if that? What if it's a red bar on the going up and a brown bar? I said, wait, if we can show you how to do 80 to 90% in your first 100, but 90 to 98.7%, because that's the highest we've ever had. Okay. If I could show you how to do this just by following 1, 2, 3, 4, would you do it? You don't even need to answer. I know every single one of you would. Now I'm going to show you how this process of doing the 5-minute trades is going to create you a discipline like no other. Michael Sr., and you see Michael, his name is Michael. We call him Michael Sr., but it's Michael Sr. He's a senior level 2 trader with us. You might see so many people like Ken, who says elite by his name. There's a handful of other people that have other things by him. Even Brian Bonner, Dr. Brian Bonner, should have elite by his name, but doesn't. But that's okay. Dan should as well. There's a handful of other people in the room that don't, and that's okay. But there are, even Tim W. should have senior by his name. But these are people that have done a certain process, and you start beginning to do the process by learning the rules. Once you learn the rules, the next big thing is repetition, right? Anybody here golf or play baseball, tennis? How many times you need to swing that bat, swing that club, swing that racket, get your eye and your hand-to-eye coordination going. Keep your eye on the ball. There's only a handful of things you do when you're swinging your bat. Your position in well, with golf, there's like 42 steps of swinging a golf club. But listen, in our case, we've simplified it. So if the repetition of those rules happening, I'm going to give you a brief in look. It takes about 400 times, for about 400 trades to really get a subconscious level to this process, right? So if this happens, if this rule set happens for you 400 times, you begin to unfold the ratio, and that ratio begins to dial you in as a trader, right? So for those of you that are undisciplined, following those rules, if you're serious about what you said just a minute ago, right, that you're here to make this, and you're all said, yes, dial me in. Yep, it's me. Yep, I'm the one. I'm here to do it because I want to make this a focus. I want to make the money. I want to do what I need to do. I want to be a business. If you're serious about it, you have to dial that in. You have to do that. You only need to start the discipline one time because it will take over. The process will take over. You have to trust. Okay? Because here's what happens. All of these disappear. All of them do. Do you understand? When you follow these very simple rules, okay, when you use this strategy in the very beginning, they all begin to disappear, every single one of them. Every single one. Even the winning strategy, even the news process. Remember, news gets knocked right off the bat with the discipline of doing the 4. Your consistency gets knocked off because you find consistency. Your hesitation to get in a trade gets knocked off. Your confidence behind it gets knocked off. Your winning strategy, it becomes a winning strategy. Yes, it does. The emotion behind the trade gets knocked off because it begins to teach you that the less emotion you use, the removal emotion, it becomes numbers. So you're only left with one real process, right? And that's your discipline. But even then, disappears because it becomes with repetition like secondhand, like breathing. So if 400 trades get you there, and you're doing 5-minute trades, and this wipes away all those problems that you have as far as being able to get into the trades, having that emotion, having the discipline to do it. You only need one thing now: trust. That's right. You just need the trust. Oh, and by the way, that's not in me. Okay. You need to trust in you. I only am going to show you how to use the tool. I'm only going to hand you the tool, show you how to use it a couple of times, show you that it can be used, show you other people that know how to use it. Then you have to do it. Now, you're going to be training in demo. So if it's a hammer analogy, I'm basically giving you a rubber version of it, right? And I'm trying to show you how to do the motion with it. So that in case if you hit a finger, it's not gonna hurt as much. Okay. And you're gonna learn how to swing that hammer every single moment that you need to. This trust that you have to do. This is like the first time that you say, I have to take a risk. I have to take a chance. I want to make this work. I have to do it. The reason why you search the internet. Did you ever hear the statement, be careful what you wish for? What happens if you wish for something and you get it? Are you prepared for it? Are you prepared to do what it takes to get it done? How many people here think that they're very close to their idea of success? That it's just like through a small veil of information. Does anybody here feel that you've started to get there as far as some of you that have been here for a little while? Lots of questions, I know. I'm going to show you some of the results of people that are saying yes in there. Now, here's the thing. Another big question for all of you. The repetition, the discipline, the risk that you put in. Howard Jones says is close. The idea of getting there doesn't become a destination, is it? There's no one spot in movement. Lewis, that's a great comment. He says, I quit strategy hopping and am working on my discipline. Yeah, shiny object syndrome. That's what happens. Ooh, shiny object. It's happened to me a dozen times. But your idea of success isn't about a destination in time or a place, right? This is not you over here, and this is the destination circle, and this is where everybody freaking lives, right? Because let me tell you right now, this little idea of success that everybody puts out there isn't about money, isn't about fame. isn't about the car you drive or the house that you have. It's not about any of that. It's about the consistency that you can build your company. And remember, you're a business. So you have to treat it like a business. You have to begin to think of it like a business. You have to think about every part of what you do as a business from this point on. Because if you want to be successful and success is not a destination, then what is success? Can anybody tell me what their, if you want to share, you don't have to share this. This is something you're not obligated tonight to share. But in just a couple of words, what is your idea of success? Well, not to get super metaphysical with you, but Brian Bonner says, Dr. B says freedom. That's a big one, right? Freedom. Come on. Anybody else? What's your idea? Let me put this up here. Freedom. Anybody else? Support my family. So support. Right? It's a great one, Dan. Freedom to make. There's another one about freedom. We'll put that one up even bigger now. Replace my working income. Okay. Work income. This is once you get there, you feel you're successful. Great. Rob H says all the above, right? Happiness and contentment. Absolutely. Perfect. Jay says helping others. Helping others is a big one too. Zig Ziglar says in order to get what you need in the world, you have to help everybody else get there too. Being in the zone and enjoying the buzz. I like you, Howard. you're an adrenaline junkie, aren't you? In their abundance. That's very deep, Joseph. Very, very deep. There's no wrong answer here. The idea of basically, can you wrap it all up into one word? Can you see where that word is on the screen right now? All this information is a mindset. Okay? Because the idea of success, having those things, it means that you have made that decision. Now, some of them are physical, right? Support, you want to be able to make the support so you can support your family. You want to help others. Okay, these are things, freedoms that you have. Let me ask you a question. 9 years ago, I started to work from home, right? Day one for me working from home, I was a success. Okay. Because I had already had the freedom that I wanted at that point with my mentality. I was already working as my income. Now remember, if it's not a destination, none of these are destinations, right? Until you feel them, right? It's almost like the first day you start a job. You get paid in 2 weeks. It doesn't mean that you're not successful, that you haven't reached a level of your success. I achieved all of those. Why? Because I knew that if I was going to, it was about changing my mindset. But guess what, folks? On day one, 9 years ago, I didn't think this. I didn't get here until about 40 years ago, right? And so it took me almost 5 years to get to that point. 5 years. Doesn't mean all you're going to do 5 years. Remember, all results may vary, and I hope they vary for you, and I hope you get them like today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week. But it's hard because some people don't allow themselves to see that success. It's hard to take responsibility. It's hard and I know Dr. Bonner is an accomplished individual, and you work very hard at what you have. But you didn't wake up one morning and say, I think I'm going to be a doctor and be a doctor tomorrow. You've had to put the work in. And just because you said it doesn't mean that you are in. But you had to work to get there. It's taking time, taking energy, it's taking money. Each one of you have this variance of what you want that you have to focus on. So we've talked about your challenge, right? We talked about your idea. So if we've beaten back the challenge and you now know what you need for that process, right, is you need to change your mindset. How do we do that? Well, some of you, it needs to be proven. It needs to become factual, consistent, valued information. You know, proofs in the pudding, Max, right? Put up or shut up kind of stuff. But I have news for you. I can't show you what I do and have it change you. Can anybody tell me why? And why I can't show you what I do for it to change you? I'd be awfully surprised if you answer, because it's different for every single person in this room. Every single one of you that are here right now, you all had different answers of what your ideas were, what held you back. You have to change on your own. But so, what if I were to tell you that I could run you through a marathon tomorrow and I could run you through a process that will show you who you are in trading? It will show you what you can do. And by the result itself, will show you that you have an opportunity as soon as you start getting through this, and you'll start to see it in yourself, right? And again, let's jump back. We're going to talk about the 5-minute trades here. And why are 5-minute trades so good? Because you got an opportunity of 12 times per hour times 4 pairs that are in there, because there's 4 assets that are in Nadex under the 5 minutes. That's 48 opportunities. Doesn't mean you're going to trade 48 times. In fact, you're probably going to trade about 4 times an hour, right? And if I tell you it gets to 400 trades to really get it, to start to hone in on it, right? Some get it faster, some take it slower, some have been to 500, 600 trades, okay? So if I tell you that, how many hours will it take you to get to that using this concept? 100 hours, right? About 100 hours. But now you've gotten, you know, you've gotten the idea, right? That's a terrible light bulb. Look at that stupid light bulb. But now you've got the idea. So if I put you into the discipline, if you begin to start trading, how does it unfold for you? Well, the first 100 trades, we talked about this last night, is the GSR, the gross success rate, right? And your GSR in the very beginning will say a lot on, one, how well did you learn the system, right? How well did you learn the training, go through the training, go through the process? Did you ask questions? Did you get a consult? Did you go through the solution? How well is that, right? So if you're doing, and I haven't found one single person, not one, that has been under 60% success yet, right? And that doesn't mean that, that they're going to make a lot of money doing 60%, because they're not. But between 60 and 80% when they're doing that first 100 trades. Now remember, your daily, what you do doesn't negate this. Okay, if you do 60% in one day, or 70% or 80%, 90% in one day, it doesn't mean you got it or don't got it. You got to go through the 100 trades. You got to go there. You got to put the work on. You got to get on the bike and make it happen. You got to pedal, pedal, pedal. You never give up and never give up. No, actually, it doesn't need to be. It actually has to be more, especially in Nadex. If you're doing a 20/80 rule on the 5-minute, you're getting contracts for about $20 profit and $80 risk. But the cool thing, Howard, is that we do have other programs available for ATMs and somewhat subjugated OTMs, which I'll show, but not tonight. I'll show a part of it tonight, called the flag and pennant. But in the real world, I mean, yeah, 60% and above, 58.3 or something with fees and all that stuff could get you a good living if you're trading Forex or what we call current price trading. but this isn't current price trading. So I digress. But 60 to 80% in your first 100 trades that you're going to do in the 5-minute series, trading in this process isn't about the end result of how much money you made, okay? How much money did I make in demo? How much money? Because you're only trading one contract. You're only trading at a certain period of time that you can trade. You're following those full rules. You're seeing how well you can get in, how well through those rules that you start to combat. Remember, if every single one of you is different, right? Isn't it going to affect each one of you differently? Even if you all follow the same rules? And the answer is yes. Some of you will get into the trade, some of you won't. Some of you will still hesitate because you need to build that confidence. So during this, you're building the confidence. Sometimes you're going to strike out. Sometimes you're going to make a mistake. Sometimes you're going to hesitate. Sometimes you won't have the confidence. Sometimes whatever it might be. So this first 100 trades is really to knock the cobwebs off, to say, hey, look, get in there and do this, figure it out. You're going to have consults with me. You're going to show me your results. I'll show you some of the results from the other customers and what they do on the notes that we keep on them. And some of you you'll have it down. Like you'll get that 60, 80%. You won't be in that. You'll be actually between 80 and 90% your first 100. If you're 60 and 80, you got some work to do, right? And your work is really about just trying to find what is going on. Is there something that's happening? Maybe there's something off. Maybe you're getting in the wrong 3 or the wrong 4 minute. Maybe you're going the wrong way on some of them. Maybe you're trading around the news too soon, too close to the news. Maybe it's the market. Who knows, right? But you don't add anything extra in here. You don't do anything extra at this point. You are just learning how to trade the system and doing it and dialing it in every day. Once you get to that 100 trades and you get this number, whatever it might be, if you're 60 to 80, you got some work. If you're 80 to 90, you got just a tiny bit of margin in there that you got to change just a little bit. Can you still make money on 80? You can break even here at 81.8%. You can break even, 81.8, right? Everybody knows because there's fees involved, right? So break even. So anything above that, you can make money. Not a lot of money if you're trading just one contract. Now, if you're trading 90 to 98.7%, I can't tell you 100 because I've never met anybody who's done 100 their first 100 and won them all. Not even me. And by the way, I had this level. This is my level. But I invented it, so I can't help it. I love my system. So 90 to 98.7%. What does this mean? If you get this right off the bat, if your first 100 is right there, what kind of trader are you? You're a 5-minute trader. That's what you are. You are a golden person of trader of 5-minute trades, and this is what you should be doing for a living is 5-minute trades. Why? Because you already have a subconscious feeling of the market. You've done it well enough, and you have it. Now let's talk about the next one. The next thing you need to do is do another 200 trades, but this time you can do 5 contracts, and you're going to sort of you can be very subjective on the contracts you take. The first batch should take you about 3 to 6 days, right? Shouldn't take you anything longer than that. Got to be honest with you. If you're not doing it in this time, you're either working a lot, and that's okay, or you're not trying hard enough. And when you're working a lot, I mean another job, and you really can't get into it. But this part should take you about 2 weeks. Sorry, I wrote 3 when I meant 2. About 2 weeks. It should take you about 2 weeks to do. And this one's going to give you your NSR, your net success rate. And this is important because if you started out on the other one 60 to 80, and then you finish 85 to 95%, you're golden. This is your life. 5-minute trades. I can guarantee you that's your life. If you finish between that 90 and that 98% success at that point, you got to write me because there's a possibility that by your second 100 trade in that area, if you end in this area, this 85 to 95%, you're going to become a trainer with the company, and you'll be, senior level 2 trader. You'll be, meeting people and talking to people, doing all that kind of stuff too. And there's money to be there as well. Yes, yes, yes. What happens after the 200 trade? You have the decision from this point on to figure out, is this something that you're going to continue to go with? What happens if you don't get to that? What happens if maybe you're still below, maybe you're between 80 and 90%? This is still okay, but what you're going to do is you're going to change over to a 1-hour intraday strategy that we have. Okay. And the 1-hour intraday strategy, folks, guess what? Is the same program that you use for the 5-minute trades. Yeah, but slower. And you're going to find that not just the system, but the rules are now they're different. Don't trade news, right? So no news. You're going to trade either a 30-minute arrow or a 45-minute arrow. And then, of course, you're going to use the sell with a 2+ pip margin. And that's it. Or in the buy, of course, on that side of it. It's the same rules, just in a different time frame, but it slows it down some. Because getting into 200 trades, you already know how to get in and get out. You'll probably already know how to put a working order on as well. You'll probably know how to get out of a trade if it starts going bad. We're not even going to talk about scalping, because I want everybody to stop scalping their trades. Everybody. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. But the 1-hour intraday trades that happen when you're doing this process, you begin to, it's like everybody's moving in slow motion. You're like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And the system works so well on that 30-minute and 45-minute. I'm going to show you here in just a second that you begins to not only feel, because the markets move at every time frame exactly the same. Does anybody realize that? That on a 1-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, week, and month, they all move the same. They all look the same, right? Bars, charts, movement, ups and downs, bars opens, closes. And if you're getting on if you're on a 1-minute chart trading a 5-minute trade, you're getting the fast-paced lessons of somebody in 100 trades, 200 trades, of somebody that would take 2-3 months to get the same information, maybe even a year. So we're going to open up this network of this process. Okay, we refer to it as Trader's Mind. And originally, Trader's Mind was using a double stochastic to trade 5 minutes, but we're actually going to start everybody out with this series with the 5-minute full circle. Okay, and this 5-minute series is going to require you to do what I just said: 100 trades, 200 trades, supply your information, do all that stuff. And this is going to help alleviate, you guys remember, all those problems and things you guys were talking about before, right? Does anybody see anything in there that wouldn't be alleviated by that program? Be honest with me. Does anybody see in there? Oh, by the way, that strategy is leading out 90 to 96% success rate. Can anybody handle that? But you got to go through this other stuff first to get to there, because if you jump right into that one without knowing all this other stuff, you may bundle the process, and you may fumble the whole solution in there, because you're not familiar with how to get in and get out and use working orders and do all that process. So you got to use the 5 minutes to get yourself acclimated. I mean, subconscious on a breathing kind of level, acclimated, right? Not just like, I know how to trade Nadex, I'm good with Nadex. No. You start trading 5-minute binaries, you find out how good you are. Because even if you aren't very good and you come out between 60 and 80%, By the time you go to a 1 hour, you're like, cake. What do you mean I got 20 minutes to figure out if this is, yeah, I got this. You got me? Okay. As one of the final questions here, okay, because we've talked about a lot of things, is that we've talked about your worries of what stops you, what's your biggest concern, what's your biggest issue. You're going to have a whole bunch of other little micro issues, okay? But you have to know that everybody that's here is here to help you. And we've dealt with them all. And one of us has dealt with one of the problems. You're not going to bring to anything to us that we haven't seen yet. We're not know-it-alls, but we definitely have seen a lot with over 1,000 people going through the system. So if you have issues, if you have problems, reaching out to us is not a problem to us at all. That's what we're here for. You're not bugging us or bothering us or taking our time away from other people or anything else. We've committed to this process. So the last question here. If you're brand new, even if you've been here a while, and this is your life to learn a business, is this company now, is this solution that's sitting in front of you, are you able to do everything that's in there? Is there anything in that system that's bad? No. But are you able to understand that the work that needs to be done is right in front of you? You've got people to support you. You have a system that works. It's proven, and I'm going to show you again here in a minute. Is this then the program that's there for you? That's what you have to ask yourself. And maybe it's not even something you answer for me. You answer for yourself. If this is what it is for you, what is the one thing now that is keeping you back? Just doing it. So the last question that you have to answer doesn't come to me. It should be an answer that is a question that gets answered with a question. And it's the question actually answers it itself. And the question is, why not? By the way, this is one of the questions that I was asked when I said to somebody, I think we should open up our own company and try to help as many people as possible because this is a nightmare trying to figure it out on your own. And the person that said this to me is now my business partner. Her name's Amy Kuipers. And one of my best friends. Besides my brother Brian, who's in the room too. And this answer, the question that is actually an answer for everything is why not? There's nobody here that should be able to do it over somebody else. Now, I've yacked on enough. So let me start showing you some things in here. And some of you are going to see this because it's like old hat, right? Some of you are going to, some of you that are new here, you're going to see this too. And you're going to be like, okay, that's a little bit too good to be true. And trust me, I don't have time to mess with, faking information and all that kind of bullshit, right? We're here to make things happen. Okay, we're here to teach people and help people. So we're not here to try to trick you into anything. I want people that are here are going to work it and show the results and be a part of it. So let's do that. His name is Courtney. Started out the process, and I think I was showing this earlier. I'm just going to kind of go down through. Had a 70% success rate, first one that he had done. Let me see, that one's mine. But this is with the 5-minute trades in his solution. Now I know that he's jumped back in and started, and he's gotten back in, and he started to do his next batch. But this is over only 1 day, so that's not his overall. So he's 1 day, 11:14 from yesterday is at 70% from the process. But he was doing some things incorrect too. So let's just keep that in mind. I'm going to show you Ken now. There's 5 minutes. Okay, there's 5 minutes. I'm going to show you Ken. Ken Wright's been here for some time now. In at 91%. This is, I think, his second or third batch. I can't remember. Ken's in the room. Maybe he may be able to fill you in. But all the greens on his beautiful chart, by the way. I love your spreadsheet. But 27.16 is the running balance, and he has 91.11%, 41 and 4. So he's done 45 trades in this batch so far. Still kicking it. But you can also see down here he's doing some. I did put this over, right? Yes, okay, good. Is that he's done the 1 hour trades too in this solution in here, right? So he's at 26 and 1. Thank you, Ken. Oh my God, that is so beautiful. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. 96.3% in 1 hour trades. So you see that the progression of 5 minute trades, getting in, getting out, and doing that, and then you jump over to the 1 hour trades that he's done, 26 and 1, right? Maybe even 27 and 1. I don't know if this one's lost or not yet. Maybe this is an active trade. That's probably why, right? Because it's 20 after. So here in about 8 minutes, you'll find out whether or not this won or not. But let me tell you, right? He then is also doing one of our other strategies that I asked out there that he started to do called the flag and pennant series, right? And if you look at his Dex 5 minute trades, they got like 78. So there's $22, 22, 21, 22, 23, very consistent, a lot of working order stuff. Great, great, great. But then you jump over to the flag and pennant series. Oh, wait, let's go to Dex 1 hour. Same kind of thing, 28, 20. There's a $68 one or a $32 one. So pretty powerful that you do get the a little bit at that same rate, $20 above. Very powerful. But then watch what happens when you switch over to the flag and pennant. Now, this is an at-the-money system. This is almost as close to one-to-one ratio as you're going to get with anything without going OTM. And he's getting 46. This one is a 46.75, 46, 44. Holy crap. Can bat 75% and still make $76. But remember, he's only doing one contract apiece, right? So congratulations, Ken. You are the epitome of starting this process and making that happen. So thank you very much. Paul Davies has been here for forever. He's a senior level 2 trader. These are 5-minute trades. Started back on 10/21 of last month, so the 21st to now. So about a month, right? I want you to realize about a month has been trading the 5-minute trades, right? Lots of information in here, right? And so 86 and 20, so 206 to 86, 186. So not too bad. What is that ratio? 186 divided by 206. That's 90.2%, right? And a big number is too that he's only been trading about 5 contracts for a short period of time, but also he's only been trading. He's been scalping out a lot, right? And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute too. Equals let's just do what he normally doesn't do the equals. So $3,935 in 1 month. You might not think this is a lot, right? Because there's only about 2 or 3 days that he's been trading since the 10th of, or I'm sorry, since the 8th or 9th or the 4th, 3rd. All right, so on the 3rd, he started trading five contracts at a time. But let's just pretend that that's all it was, for a month. He's made $4K in a month. I don't think that's a bad month, right? Does anybody here think that's a bad month for starting out? I don't think so. Don't think that's a bad month at all. Being above water on anything is not bad at all, right? Okay, let's go look at a couple more. Okay. So this is Courtney's second day of trading on 11/15, right? And he's hit 92%. Right? And he was 70% the other day. So in 2 days, 70 plus 92 divided by 2. So he's at 81% total, right? So he's getting better. We had a consult, and he went from 70% to 92. Who knows what's going to happen over the next couple of days, right? No, it isn't the same one. Okay. So then we got, it's my superstar, right? Michael, who's senior level 2 in there. Been pounding the heck out of everything that we're doing. Holy crap, dude. Okay, so he's got some trades on. But look, he's got 3 trades on. And that's the other good thing too, is that you might work for the hour, but you can put on multiple trades on the process and have an opportunity. And if you got a 92%, 95, 96% success rate, And you're getting in. These are really good numbers too. $78, $22 profit, $23 profit. You know, had some challenges on a couple of the days, and I know still, but when you're getting into good profits, you still get okay money after it all, even though that you've hit like 80 something percent, you know. But these are Michael's trades. But listen, when he started out, let's be real. This was his first batch of 100 right here, 98 and 2. His second batch of 100, 97 and 4. His third batch, 96 and 7. So you tell me. And now he's working on this last batch. So if it's 80 and he's done 96, 97% success on all four, or the first three, and then 80 on the last, let's look at that for a second. 96 plus 98 plus 96%, right? Plus 80 divided by 4. That's still 92%. So if you look at it as the macro, not that, hey, I did 80% in this last 100. This sucks. I've got to figure something else out. But the big picture here. And you're ready for this? Are you ready for this? This is crazy. If I go back, this is his first 100. He started on the 17th of October. His first month trading at these levels in demo. I think he's trading live now. I'm not sure if he's into that. So 2100. Sorry, he has a lot of spreadsheets. 9500. So 2100, 9500, 8700. Where's that other one at? I know it's another one. 2195. Okay, and $208. And 208. All right. So his first month in so far, if we just count this up, right? This is crazy. 2100 plus 9500. I'm rounding off too, of course. Plus 208. $20,500. Anybody think that's a great job? I think so. In fact, Ken thinks so as well. So do I. You didn't want to do it, but you're coming around on the 1 hours. I knew you would. Now he's in there doing 1 hour trades. Do you understand? So if you're brand new here, if you're here tonight and you're brand new, what does this all mean, right? It means that you got people here that are willing to work it with you. Now, normally, the system costs $147 a month to be in DEX indicators. You have DEX indicators and you got DEX signals. It doesn't matter where you go in it, right? If one turns out not to be DEX indicators, not DEX trader. If one turns out not to be in there for you, don't sweat it. Okay, we can get you switched over to the other one if you have to. You don't like to a lot, you'd be pushing people around everywhere, but you know, the training's the training. You're going to have to get in. There's a lot of things that are going to be changing in the process. But I want to give you an opportunity, right? Some of you are here, you're brand new. Maybe you've never traded these systems before. Don't worry, you're going to get consults. There's buttons in the backside. There's all this stuff. But I want you to use DEX Save 50 in the coupon section. And this is going to get you a basically interviews with me and being able to talk to you about the process and kind of give you a one-on-one with that solution, whether it's DEX indicators or DEX signals or what have you. There's even a process in the consult area that we can do a one-on-one screen share so I can help you load things on and get things going if you're having problems with it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, this $50 off is going to get you there, but let me tell you something. Some of you may be worried about, using MetaTrader on that stuff. That's okay. Happening by this Friday, and I got to do this announcement for everybody that's watching as well, and then I'll cut this off and then we'll do questions and answers after. But starting this Friday, November 18th, okay, 11/18, anybody who buys in before 11/18 will be getting our DEX trader system that's coming out here in the next 2 weeks. Okay, anybody who gets in at this point will be getting the DEX trader system for free. Because when this comes out, this as well, okay, is an add-on to any of it, and it's $147 standalone. Okay, so you would be paying DEX indicators if you were in there, $147, and DEX trader for $147. So what's that? Close to $300. So you're saving about 150 bucks from the process. Is there a reason why not? Kenneth, yeah, and I'll answer that question here in just a minute, as soon as we're in the questions and answers. Just give me a second to finish up here. Will the train station have indicators preloaded? Yes, in the second version of it, it will have indicators. It'll have some like stochastics, like the basic default ones, but not our special ones. I'm getting that for phase two. We might be able to get into phase one. I'm not really sure, but I wanted to load to make sure the charts and everything else were on there first. Okay, so that's what it really comes down to in that first one. But also, for anybody who's bought in at this level, you're going to get all the training that's involved too, and elite training in that solution. Um, because after the 11th, I have to, anybody who is a customer from the 18th until the time of release has to be paying 147 for any of the systems at full price. So anybody who's a customer right now and you're getting in those lesser costs, um, you have to pay, you have to be paying 147 after the 18th for that solution. Now, the Dex Trader system, for some of you that don't know, is a web-based process that you don't need download MetaTrader for. It's all going to be chart active. It's a pretty powerful solution in the system. Here's a quick mock-up of what it looks like. Um, terrible, terrible mock-up that I do graphics, but I had to do this in a very big hurry to be able to show people, to show the other programmers what the basics were going to be, where it has the daily signals, the assets, the signals, all that stuff. So it is coming to bear. It's just a matter of getting it completely done by this third-party company now that is going to take on a lot of that for us. So this webinar has gone pretty long for now. So what I'm going to do is sort of cut this where we're at. Anybody who's watching after the fact, thank you so much for being here tonight. This was a great webinar. I feel I had an awesome time being able to talk to a lot of you. Everybody that's in the chat room, stick around for your questions. I'll answer some of the other questions in there. For everybody else that's watching this after the fact, get into the system, get to training, use the Dex Save 50, get 50 bucks off your first month. If you have any problems getting into the programs, please check out customer service. There's a lot of stuff behind there. And make sure that you really get on board with the process. All right. I'm Max Farrell. This is Dex Indicators. I look forward to seeing you inside, and you all trade well. Take care.